Whatever, fuck it.
Well, I don't know.
All right, we're live.
Whoa, hey guys, we are back. I am Otto, and this is the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 347. Tonight I'm joined with Jared Schneiderman.
Hey guys.
Alex Schlegel.
Good to see everybody. Glad to be hanging out, guys.
And Dr. E, Eric Dietrich. Welcome back to the show.
Thank
been a
you
while.
so much. It
Stain
has been
style.
a while.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Dude, so speaking of that, Stained I got this thing notification. It says Stained is having like a reunion virtual concert, and they're like tickets like $50 for like the 2 sets and a t-shirt.
Virtual?
Yeah.
Are you doing it?
I bought 2 t-shirts, so yeah, I'm in.
Wow, dude.
I'm gonna have my 2 both on my phone and on the laptop. I'm gonna be watching Stain. It's gonna be amazing.
You're joking, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not. No,
dude, I don't know,
man.
man. You're
you
you're a
look so
mysterious cat.
I know. For people who are just listening to this, you see Jared's face. It was fucking hilarious. She's just staring down, like, "Where's the punchline? Where's the punchline?"
Where's this going?
It just popped up on my phone today. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, that's weird.
I guess it just thinks I like Stained. I guess.
The fact that these bands still remain relevant, like, what the fuck? I would never see you in the before times, let alone
honestly, though,
a virtual concert.
His country stuff was actually pretty decent, I thought.
Dude, I had no idea about that until like my last job.
Yeah.
There was this one dude, like country boy, who was kind of like, he was like, yeah, man, he's really good. I'm like, wait, this is that motherfucker like Stain band? Like, you know what I mean? I never put the like because it's
I
not.
actually did see him in concert at
was it?
It was pretty cool. I saw him at where the fuck was it? Maybe it was like 930 Club. I think it was 930
Really?
Club.
Wow.
Yeah. Or no, it was Rams Head Live. It was Rams Head Live.
Yeah. Okay. Was that Aaron Lewis or Stained?
It was Aaron Lewis.
Okay. So
Like-
it was Aaron Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, he did play like that song.
Been a while.
But like, you know, it was like under the guise of like Aaron Lewis as like the country guy. But,
I guess I can't get beyond
I
that.
think I got
Like,
free tickets for it or something.
oh, there you go. You didn't actually throw some shekels towards that. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
How
just
many
can't
gold
get
backs did you spend?
gold back.
How
Yeah,
many
it was
Utah
like
gold backs?
80 gold backs.
Yo, yeah, Jared, throw up that gold back. Yeah.
Hard to see on the.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's
kind of cool though.
it's
So
pretty
for our
rad looking.
listeners, since this is
Yeah,
audio,
this is great for the audio, huh?
I know.
No, there's
Jared's
this.
holding
My
up some
friend
of
gave.
his. You
Yeah, my friend gave me this thing. It's called a Utah Goldback, and it's basically in the shape of like a small dollar, and it's made with 1/1000th of a troy ounce of 24 karat gold.
Ooh.
But I think they actually cost. They're apparently in high demand, but they cost like $3.
Okay. Well,
And it's probably
$3.
worth about $1. It's probably worth about $1, a US dollar in gold.
So is that like the equivalent of like a Satoshi for Bitcoin?
Nah, dude. Satoshi is like way less than that.
One, I know. It's a joke. Jesus.
I mean, in all
I don't-
honesty,
I don't
like,
understand your humor today, Phil. I'm
It's-
taking you at face
I
value
burnt-
for everything.
Well, my face.
Everything you say, I'm taking at face value.
Well, face value. It's not good looking if it's face value. Man,
A very
We're,
burnt face value.
it's very burnt. If people who are just listening, my arm. You should see how like red my arm. Like, my God, it's hurt. It hurts. Like I'm sitting here and it hurts so bad. I got burnt so bad at this brewery today. I went all the way out to,
white boy
Yeah.
sunburn.
yeah, white boy, white boy sunburn. Yeah. Oh man. So I went out there. We started drinking. We got there right around noon, and my wife didn't really care. She's more of like a whiskey drinker. She doesn't really drink beer. She gets too full on it. But she was like, I want to try it. I want to try it. So we were just trying beers, and each one she'd get, she didn't like. So she got like 4 beers that she didn't like, plus the 4 or 5 beers I was getting myself. And by like 2:00, I was like hammered. I'm like, I was like, well, I can't drive home.
Was
this
she
was before.
drinking them? Like all? of
No,
them?
she would take a sip and she'd be like, well, I don't like this one. Like I can't like.
And then you
I'm
said
trying.
you would drink it.
Yeah. Because you couldn't take the beers into the whiskey section of the distillery, so I was just drinking it all. And then we went and started drinking whiskey. And then at that time, I was like, if I drink any more,
Why
I'm
couldn't
gonna
she?
be puking.
They didn't offer like flights.
I mean, I'm sure that they would have, but it's probably not something we weren't smart. I wasn't smart enough because like the one I went in there for like my 4th beer and they were like, "Do you want to try one of these?" I'm like, "Shit, we could try one."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you
well,
can just
that would've
any
helped.
bar you can be like, "Hey, can I try that?" And they'll give you like a little fucking shot of it.
I didn't think about it. I was already sunburned and tired and drunk, so I just So that's what I've been up to today. How was your guys'
man.
weekend?
What was the level of COVID there, Otto? Like, what are they COVID idiots? It's in Virginia, right? Like northern, like kind of country northern Virginia.
Yeah, like kind of west, a little bit west of Northern Virginia. So it's like a little bit northwest of DC. And it's what you'd expect here for the most part. You just wore a mask inside. Oh, but there was a lot of dummies. They're wearing a mask outside. And it's like they're wearing it like waiting in line to get food. And the people that were cooking the food didn't have masks on. Like, what are you doing? Like this made no sense, but I didn't wear a mask. I didn't wear a mask at all. And when we went inside, I had Alex saw my mask, the one that says the illusion of safety. It's made of cheesecloth.
It's literally like it's like a dryer sheet that he has on his
and it provides no protection, just like your mask. Yeah. And it was the same, what you expect around here for the Maryland, DC area. It's pretty high levels of people still masked up.
COVID idiocy. Yeah. It's funny, man, but it's pockets. It's like pockets of give a fuck. Cause tell
us what you're doing.
Yeah, well, like Saturday, so our boy James Cook, he's out in this town, Rock Hall, Maryland, and it's literally like if I walk like there's a state park in Dundalk, which is like eastern Baltimore County and like east of the city, and you can literally see it right across the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah,
you can literally see it. Like if you can go down there, it's a big long fishing pier and like park, and you could see it, but it took damn near 1.5 hours going the Bay Bridge, which is sketchy as fuck. For those that have never driven over it or know of it, it's like super sketch. I don't know. I don't like driving over it. I guess if you do it every day, you just like the level of anxiety comes down. But so getting over there took about an hour and a half. So you have two options. You could go up towards Delaware and come back down the Eastern Shore. And dude, it was as soon as you get over to the Eastern Shore of Maryland, it's like, where am I? Like, I feel like I'm down south. Nobody gives a fuck about the masks. Like every business establishment, yeah, they do it. It's like, security theater, like the owners or the wait staff at the restaurant we went to, or wherever the case may be. They're just, dude, they don't care over there. People are just walking out, living life. So our friend James is running for city council, and the election is, of all days, on a Saturday at the fire department. It's a small little, dude, the town was like Mayberry. It was like, hello neighbors, and it's like, so James has lived there for, I think, 15 years, and he's running for city council, and he has a shot. So we just went door to door all day Saturday, 4 of us, and then a whole crew today drove over there, just like a bunch of people in Mises Caucus, a bunch of people, just libertarians, Maryland libertarian, like the people that are doing shit. And it was really refreshing, like talking to locals. And dude, you get away from like these cities, or even in the cities, people are so done with this shit. So then that was yesterday. And then Saturday night, Otto was there. Our buddy Paul, who's in Maryland. Now he's the Radical Caucus chair. So he just put on this event at this restaurant in Towson, Maryland. It's called Bread and Circuses. Banging food. Would you not agree? Like,
yeah, I had the chicken and waffles, and they were like spicy. It's fucking awesome.
Fucking banging food. But our friend Paul,
I am a chicken and waffles convert as of late.
Dude,
I love chicken and waffles. So good.
How good is chicken and waffles?
Yeah. Where the fuck did I have it recently? Oh man, dude, it was so good.
Miss Shirley's.
Yes, it was Miss Shirley's.
Oh shit, yeah, they're known for that.
Yeah, dude. Good fucking guess, man. Yeah, it was at Miss Shirley's. It was so goddamn good.
Smaltimore guess.
Smaltimore guess.
Dude. And Miss Shirley's is like the shit already.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was banging.
Dude, it was man. It was so refreshing being over in like a different like town, and then like just Saturday night, Bread and Circuses. It's this bar and restaurant, really nice, like really good food. Just very limited menu, but what they do it well. It's like, You're going to get this, and it's going to be fucking good. You know it's going to be good. Great beers on tap. And my buddy Paul, who's like now the Libertarian Party Radical Caucus chair for the state of Maryland, he's cool as fuck. And like when he hit me up, he's like, hey, I'm creating this event, and I'm not on Facebook, but I'm like, oh, wow, cool. Like you pick bread and circuses. And I'm thinking back, I'm like, wait, that's that same restaurant back in like 2012, 2011. We used to have like grassroots Ron Paul meetups there and used to pack the place. But so the owner's a huge libertarian, huge Ron Paul, like just super enthusiastic. He's like, fuck yeah, come on in. Like the whole wait staff there was super like stoked. They're wearing masks, but literally they didn't give a shit. There was no COVID. Like they weren't like, put your mask on, put your mask on. There was no COVID Karens and, you know, Debbie Downer Diane's there. Like it was just like it was
Diane's.
Yeah, goddamn Diane's. Get the fuck out.
Jack and Diane's.
Yeah. But it was just very refreshing. Like, all right, cool. And the wait staff was like, oh, cool. Like Paul got all these Radical Caucus buttons and
and like the waitresses were like digging through it. They're like, oh, I want this one. And like it said like I heart private funded roads or something like that. Like buttons say like radical libertarian shit on them. And all these waitresses like, oh, I like this one. It's got a peace logo. Or and we're like, yeah, I'm having one that's like you know, re-legalize shrooms or stuff like that.
Re-legalize meth.
Yeah.
Decrypt meth. You know, just radical like Paul.
Legalize recreational nukes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, if you dug deep enough in this box, like
it's a huge box.
It was a huge box, and it was like buttons for every single levels of liberty. And so yeah, it was really refreshing that the staff and they're like, oh, when do you guys have other events, or where do you normally meet up? And we're like, all right, well, next meeting is this month, and come on, meet up with us. And it was just like, fuck yeah, it's like the Ron Paul gift, like it's fucking happening, you know. It's
we're having the next probably the next Baltimore County Libertarian meeting we're having there probably at the end of May. So
yeah, they were super
Jared,
cool.
I expect you to be there, Jared.
Yeah.
When is it?
I don't know, somewhere at the end of May.
I'll be there.
End of May.
Dude, it's so refreshing to support businesses that are just at that level of we're just going to do enough to care, but we are sick of this fucking shit. And we're just thankful that you're patronizing our business as if it was the before times, you know? And it's so refreshing.
Only the people who ran the convention felt that way, or who hosted us at the convention felt that way.
Yeah, so a little teaser for our after hours crowd.
I'll talk about in the after hours, but a lot of people have been talking about what happened at the Maryland convention, Libertarian convention. I'll talk about in the after hours. I'm not going to put it out here, but some shit went down. Maybe a few people.
But thank you if you're a Patreon supporter, throw us some shekels and you'll get the
juicy deets. You guys want to hear
our paid customers? You got it. There's levels to the shit, you know. We're not just going to spill. We're not going to give you everything.
Yeah, you bunch of freeloaders and takers.
Yeah, $1.
Some money.
Fuck, $1. One Fed note.
You know what? Make it 5 Fed notes just for being so lazy and not doing it. Get on the $5 level.
Yeah. So Eric, Dr. E, man, tell us what's up, dude. Glad you're joining us tonight, man.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. I was on here, I think it was 2018. The name of the episode was Alien Warboner. So if you want to go back in the archive and pull that one up.
I was definitely had Matt Bergman's input in that.
Oh yeah, we were down Liberty Basement, Anarchy Basement.
Oh yeah, dude, so of course you got to have like a dick in the title according to Bergman. You know,
there's a dick in probably at least 30% of all titles.
Well, it's a requirement. Yeah.
Back then, I would have considered myself a progressive. It was like shortly after AOC got into Congress, and when she was kind of causing a stir and seemed like an authentic politician, which she no longer does seem that way. And I was into like the Bernie Sanders message and all that. So, and over time, I was always open to other ideas, like libertarian ideas and whatever else. And I just kept coming up more in my life, and I kept checking into it. I listened to you guys more, listened to Dave Smith, and and Ron Paul, of course. And I was texting Jared as I was like getting into Ron Paul and the Liberty Report. And I was like, dude, not only is this guy like so impressive and like his career and his accomplishments, but he's this like cute older gentleman with this like sweet voice. And I just like really like love him. I work with elderly people too, so like I've always like just loved elderly older people. So I was getting into him, and like there was just kind of one moment that stuck out where I was listening to Dave Smith, and in order to get to whatever point he was about to make, he did like a summation of kind of like the history of the government in the United States, and he only went back to like 1865, and just kind of like was explaining how the government was super small back then on a federal level, and you know, people had a lot more freedom and liberty, and it's just continued to basically grow and grow to what we have now. And that's made me think like, oh yeah, like when I was born, the government was extremely large, and it's only gotten bigger. So like in our lifetimes, we've never seen like a small government in any kind of real way, at least on a national level. And then I just started thinking like, yeah, I remember last time I was on, you guys brought up the whole point was like, yeah, taxes, there's no opt out, you know, you're forced in. And it just really turned me around. I wouldn't say I'm a full libertarian because I haven't really read enough yet. And I also felt like I got those other labels off me. I'm not ready to put another one on or like whatever. But like that was what turned me around. I think just more understanding the history of how we got here. And I think as people that are what we say statists, it seems like the solution to the problems that they see should be solved by the state, because the state is so big right now and has so much power and all of our like resources. But then if you take a step further in thinking, it's like, oh yeah, it shouldn't even be like that way to begin with. Right. So those are kind of some of the key points that turned me around, and I'm glad to be back here and talk with you. I thought that maybe like sharing this would help your listeners talk to people in their life and maybe give them a little history of like, oh yeah, you know, the government actually used to be a lot smaller and worked a lot better. And yeah.
Nice, man.
Sure, dude, that's awesome.
Dude,
I think you were also telling me that there was like certain COVID related stuff that kind of pushed you over.
Oh yeah, so then you look at the government just failing and being so tyrannical and horrible this whole last year plus. And I definitely want less and less to do with it. And, you know, what does the government do? It's like the permanent war state and the forever wars and, you know, the Wall Street bailouts. It's like, yeah, the government really doesn't do very much good at all that I can really find. And right. Like the statists keep thinking like, oh yeah, I'll change it by voting or like this other guy. But it's like, no, it's like, you have to get further back and see like this whole system is fucked. And like putting other people into it is not going to fix it or really help that much.
No. Right. And then the people that they do rally around, like AOC, as you pointed out, well, now she's like basically saying like, oh, the Democrats are good now. Like, yeah, you know, and like the actual like socialists out there, like the legit socialists have like completely disowned her and said like, oh yeah, she's just like a fake socialist.
Yeah, she got behind the paywall. She got, so now she's just like, okay, cool. I got my gravy train for the rest of my life. Fuck you guys. I'm staying in power. Like, I don't even care.
And then, you know, Bernie basically the same thing, endorses Biden.
Yeah.
You know,
what a fucking sellout
view. And it's like,
at least Ron Paul
believing in politicians.
Yeah. At least Ron Paul. Yeah, exactly. At least like, that's the thing. Like everybody, like,
but Ron Paul wasn't coming in there like, I'm going to change government. Like, no, he's just like, look, here's why government sucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote no on literally like every bill that passes my fucking desk. Go
down the rabbit hole. And at least at the end of the day, he had the integrity to say, no, I'm not fucking endorsing McCain. I'm not endorsing Mitt fucking Romney. I'm not going to tell you do whatever the fuck you want, you know? Whereas Bernie backed, you know, he's sellout. AOC sellout. Like if you were really ideologically pure, you would never even like considered endorsing the likes of Biden. You know what I mean? If you were even remotely liberal, you know, at least like Dennis Kucinich wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like there used to be individuals that were like, no, I'm going to
like a Ralph Nader type.
Yeah. Like I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm not going to fucking sell out. You know, and how many have sold out since? And it's just like Ron Paul's still like, yep, still here. All right. And still just giving you the unvarnished truth. So, yeah, decentralization. That's how it's going to happen. Stop relying on big government, and it's going to happen at the local level.
Yeah. There's
Anyways,
so have you read any books or anything in particular?
I'm so behind on reading. That's why it's like I don't want to say I haven't also thought through every issue, every policy, and I'm still a little new to it. But yeah, reading, I'm way behind.
You said you listen to Liberty Port pretty often?
Yeah.
Well, you're there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're good. You don't have to. Yeah, that's the thing. We're big tent here.
No, he has to read all of Human Action before he can call himself a libertarian.
Before you could be a real libertarian. Yeah, you're not a real libertarian unless you read Human Action.
I'll be honest. I don't think I've read a whole chapter of Human Action.
You're not a real libertarian unless you read I
read the better
Jekyll Island.
Rothbard.
Sure, I'm gonna read Creature of Jekyll Island. It's only a couple thousand pages. Sure, I'm on it.
I think I read a quarter of Man Economy State.
Oh damn, dude!
I just read Man. I read the Man
part. Jared's a man. That's it.
What would you guys recommend? If Eric was going to read something though?
Small stuff for me. I was always economic stuff. That's also kind of libertarian. Is What Has Government Done to Our Money by Murray Rothbard. It's a few of his essays put together. It's only 100 pages. Yeah, you can get through it. No.
Dude, that's
and then economics one lesson.
Yep, solid.
Yeah.
The one excerpt from the law, where Bastiat talks about
Bastiat, yeah. Yep.
Oh, it's so good. And that's that's 70 pages, not even.
Is the whole book only 70?
I think it's 70 pages.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, it might be.
It's this is small shit. So you're right in my wheelhouse because I can't read.
And Ron Paul's book.
Oh, yeah. Good.
He's got a few, but there was one that really fucking got me.
Was it Liberty Defined or something like that?
It might be Liberty Defined.
Yeah. Or Revolution, a Manifesto. That's his first one.
No, it was the Manifesto. Yeah, it was the Manifesto.
Yeah.
Because it came out I don't want to say it was right after 9/11, but it was
yeah.
Actually, it might have been 2000.
No, it was 2008 run. It was his 2008 run, and it was pretty cool.
But he just breaks down every sort of argument.
Yeah, because most swinging dick, every swinging dick puts out a book when they're running for president. He actually put that book out after he lost the nomination and wasn't it came out after the election.
Really?
Yeah. It was funny. I was listening to Tom Wood's podcast and he was interviewing Malice, and even Malice was like, dude, don't read Ron Paul's End the Fed. It's low level. But the Revolution and Manifesto, it completely changed publication. The fact that, all these anybody running for president, when you go to Target or Wally World or whatever low energy shopping corporate box store you go to, every swinging dick and they have or females they have
swinging vagina.
Yes.
Podcast title name.
But everybody has the books and they're all ghost written and they're all garbage. And the reason it came up was I guess Malice was talking about Kamala the cop, and her book came out, and apparently some
guess who's coming to town, by the way.
Oh, that
not
Kamala's big oinker herself. Yeah, big oinker herself.
Yo, let's have a rally outside that John. But anyways, I don't know. But anyways, I digress. But basically, Michael Malice was paid $1,000 by a donor to read Kamala's book on air because it's apparently the worst one out of all the candidates in 2020. Apparently, her book, who the fuck actually reads all those books? And you know what? Her book was the worst. The fact that that's someone's job to rate those books.
Yeah, someone that gets paid, probably.
Yeah, someone that gets paid.
Times or something.
So he brought it up, but he just thought and Tom Woods agreed that it was crazy that Ron Paul's presidential book came out after, because he didn't give a shit about the presidency. He just wanted to here, flip the switch on. Flip the switch on.
Well, he's all right, everyone already knows my name, so let me attach my name to this book of philosophy and just kind of slide it out there and see if anybody picks it up.
So Revolution and Manifesto is a good one, and Liberty A to Z, that's a good one, Eric. Because that was funny you brought it up, Otto. Got the convention, Jorge came up to us at the pregame at Timbuktu.
Timbuktu.
Before the convention, and Jorge was like, dude, I'm reading the audiobook of Ron Paul A to Z, and I'm like halfway through. But the great thing about that book, Eric, is just like it's broken down like every single issue, and then basically from a liberty perspective. So he was like, I think he was listening it on audio or maybe digital. And I told him, I was like,
most of these books was audio, and then I had bought a physical copy and I'd read it. Or if I just do that like during Christmas time, I have like extra hours when I'm working. And I'll be working like 12 to 16 hours a day. And I can only fill it with so many podcasts. So I just go ahead and just listen to an audiobook. Like I'll listen to The Law. I'll listen to Human Action. I'll just do stuff like that. There's really great resources out there. Like you can just find for free on YouTube if you have the time just to listen to it. And it kind of helps you get through it. But I always make sure I buy a physical copy whenever I listen to an audiobook.
Nev in the comments saying Liberty Defined is my favorite. And I told Jorge, I told him, I was like, dude, get a hard copy, because what's great about it is like, dude, you're going to want to go back to that. You know what I mean? Because like, that's the thing, like every political season, it's always like these hot button issues. So it's always good to have a reference. Like it's a great reference where you could just go back and be like, like it's where anybody debating anything or discussing any topic, you can always refer back to it. And so that's a great book, Liberty Defined. Economics in One Lesson, and What Government Has Done to Our Money.
Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's dude. Those are great starts. Those are great starts. And I don't know, anybody else that has suggestions, throw them in the comments. So
for real, dude.
Oh yeah.
So going back to what you were saying, your episode you were on, I cannot find Alien Warboner.
Yeah, what episode?
So I searched Boner.
Well, it might be,
and it's there's 3 titles with Boner in it. Episode 141 was Bitcoin Boner. The description is net neutrality, Bitcoin, Norway decriminalizes drugs, sexual harassment, more. And then there's Slick Willie Funeral Boner. Episode 176. McCain is dead. Hop's birthday.
McCain
sends aid to Pakistan. Slick Willie's boner. ER chick and Bonner. I don't. Or Boehner, I guess. And then the last. This one's the best title. Episode 26. Liberty Boner. And the description is Matt gets too high. Trump actually being a fascist. Coronavirus and the nap. Sex robots and more. I can't find it
because I can't. It might be
because
because
you search it in one word. For some reason, I feel like it was like a one word. Maybe to fit in. Try that. That's my
looks like the first 56 episodes are missing off here, but I don't think you were in the first 56. Anyway.
No. It was I joined in after the 100th episode.
You said it was one what?
Oh, and there's Boomer Lives Matter. That was episode 7.
Eric, what'd you say? What number was it?
I don't know the number. It was a 300 something.
3.
Maybe Alien Warboner was the After Hours title, or
maybe.
But yeah, it was just funny. I just love searching like for topic titles, because just like it always comes up with like Dick or something like that, and there's like 15 episodes with Dick in it.
Wait, that you were on before you were on the basement, but we like 300s. We were already out of the basement.
Yeah, so he was in
definitely way before that.
Wrong.
Yeah, whatever. He was definitely
on. Find it. We'll find it.
He was.
I will. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like it was chill, and I mean,
whatever guest can find out what episode he was wins a free T-shirt.
Yeah. You can.
Whoever messages it to Phil on Facebook first.
Well, Phil's dead, so
on auto gassing on Facebook.
There you go.
At Filthy DC on the Twitter.
Or yeah,
slide into his DMs.
You can figure it out. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. So Eric, what else? So what else have you been reading, man? What else have you been getting into?
Like I said, I'm still kind of new here. And I think like I was saying, it just took me that step back of being like, oh yeah, like I can see how the state could possibly solve any problem because it has the resources to do so. But like, then once you look at the history of like 250 consecutive years of like working for like the wealthiest of the wealthy and like them only, it's like, what you got to just like kind of get real. And I was like, oh, I got to get real here. Like the state's not going to provide solutions for anything. But like, I'm still like, I'm struggling too. 'Cause I'm like, well, what would the libertarian position be on Social Security? Like just refund everybody what they paid and get that done. I mean, it already exists. There's a lot of things that already exist that the state has already done. So now I'm trying to work my way back through like how we could
like
deconstruct
what's the just
that.
the just way of just way of deconstructing it, and like, is it giving out people, paying out what people put in? Like you get whatever you put in, you get, that's what your lump sum is, and you can, or they privatize it and they say, hey, you pick a bank, and instead we incentivize banks to start these programs of offering people to put in money, and maybe they might match it to a certain percentage if you use that bank. I don't know. I'm just like talking right now, but it's just like, what's the way? Like, what's the way to get that back? Because the money's gone. Like,
Right.
And the thing is there's also another moral question of, well, the people, like the money the people are getting now, it's not their money, it's our money. Their money was already spent on their older people that are dead, long dead. It's like,
a Ponzi
is
scheme.
it fair? Is it fair to give them money back that was expropriated from them? So it's like, what's the moral solution, really?
Yeah.
And is it just simply just,
allow us to opt out? We're basically
that should be
like,
it. I mean, that should be
like
the first
we
thing.
basically sign a waiver, like saying, like, all right, from this day forth, you will not accept a single
But like you have to
payment.
But like
but
you have to
realize you're on your
sympathize with
own.
the people. Yeah, but I mean, you have to sympathize with the people that have been forced to pay into it for like 50 years, and then they're like, "All right, now it's time to get my check," and then you're like, "Oh, actually, we're just going to get rid of this whole thing. You don't get your check."
Yeah, there's got to
like,
be
that's kind of hard to do. That's kind of hard to do to people, but yeah, at the same time, it's like, well, that money that you thought was, even if you're against it and you thought it was being stolen. Like it's been stolen and it's been used to, buy bombs, and it's not actually your money anymore. So like, how do you expect us to pay you back? Print more dollars and just devalue your dollars anyways. Like, I sympathize with it, but yeah, I think if I was gun to my head, I would say like, just got to just get rid of it and just let the market provide replacements for it.
The first step in like, the first step in solving a problem is to actually identify it. I mean, other than how many people are actually like talking about it, that it's like, dude, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's not going to be fucking around. Like, we got to figure something out. We can't just keep going this course. So just identifying and figuring out ways. And there's got to be a way, because that is true. Like, you sympathize. Like, if they today, like, oh, you didn't pay so much. It's like, man, for like 20 some odd years, I've been paying into this bullshit, But in the long run, like if I didn't have to continue paying into, like if there was a cutoff at a certain time where it's like, all right, I'll be okay if I no longer have to pay into this. And if whatever I did pay into it takes care of whoever's staying on said programs, that's fine. But from this day forth, I'm responsible for my own self, my family's well-being. Like, I'm taking responsibility now. No longer this collectivist bullshit that's clearly not working and broke. So I digress.
Yeah, I think the libertarian position, and for me, in my experience also, it was the hardest to get to because, like I said, I'll just keep coming back to, like, the state's so big, like, and plus through, like, public education, we're, like, indoctrinated into statism and, like, voting and, like, this is how it is. It's supposed to be like this. And so it's a hard position to get to where you think, okay, well, this actually should not be here, this whole system. But it's also like the hardest position to do activism on and like to achieve the goals, because the state is already there. It's already enormous, has like endless power and resources. It's like a pretty hard thing to take apart. Would you guys agree that it's like really hard to get the libertarian goals accomplished through the current system?
Oh, 100%. Because we're so ingrained. I mean, just like you said, like 90, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's probably 90% of Americans are indoctrinated in public schools. So they're already from an early age thinking like they're already in a state system that they think this is the way. And there's so many people indoctrinated in that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are definitely people who would disagree with me on this, but I don't see I don't see there being any sort of political solution to any of this. Like, you're not going to get rid of politics essentially by politics, right?
No, you got
like you have to be like well, I mean, so like I think Phil and Alex, like, they're involved in the LP pretty heavily, but I don't think it's the idea of like we're gonna get like the government to roll itself back by, I think it's more of like a spreading the message type of a situation.
Yeah, I'm not delusional. Like,
But,
I want to
right.
spread the message, but I want to spread it hardcore, where it's just like waking people up to reject the system.
And that's the
to
only thing you
reject
can
it.
really do in terms of activism, in my opinion, is, waking people up, introducing people to the ideas and philosophy, and then kind of trying to opt out of the system as much as you can. Try to, I mean, obviously, it's hard to not pay taxes, right? Because then you have the potential of going to jail. But like, there are ways to just like not participate so much in the system and sort of just treat it as though it is this sort of just like stupid thing that exists. That's, unfortunate, but like, not accepting as like, oh, this is a good thing that has to exist and blah, blah, blah. Like, just even just recognizing that fact is like a step in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any political solutions to like rolling. Like, yeah, okay, you get like marijuana gets legalized or whatever, but then it's like now you introduce new things where it's like now there's like government licensing around it. So now, it's still it's legal. A lot of people aren't going to jail. Less people are going to jail, but it's like I can't just start like a weed business out of my house, right? Like I can't just like go down the street just like selling weed and not
with
go to
that
jail
attitude.
Not yet. Not with that sense of entrepreneurship.
Not with that defeatist attitude, Jared.
But yeah, I think spreading the ideas and just getting people to like, the more and more people who sort of decide like, yeah, the state is stupid, it'll just kind of gradually, I think, just kind of lose its power. I think that's really the only way.
Eric,
Or
would
it
you
just
agree?
collapses because like, the dollar fucking collapses, or the empire collapses like Rome or whatever. Like that'll probably be the most likely scenario, really.
Well, that's where we're heading. And Eric, would you agree? Like, would you say that like the COVID is maybe like accelerated? You're going down the rabbit hole, just seeing how fucking ridiculous the state is.
For sure, it's been like failure after failure. They're like preaching about science, but not being scientific in any way about this. Like, you got Fauci out there taking multiple positions at any given time. Like, he's an embarrassment. So that for sure was very frustrating. And I wanted to make this point too. Like, I feel like now there would be more than what you would expect as an influx into libertarian thought and into the party, or what the process or the idea, because of that, like the government, like COVID didn't close down your business or your school,
right?
Like the government did.
Fucking government did,
Yeah,
right.
So I think this is a good time to like turn people on, or be like, cast your net to bring people into this idea.
100%. And I think like, and to Jared's point, we're not going to vote ourselves out of this, but I think people are just, this whole year and a half of this scamdemic, people are realizing like a free thinker can detach like, okay, I should be maybe slightly concerned with this virus, but there's also this, like, I also should be concerned with the failure of government, the tyranny, the massive the printing press, just printing, and the tyrannical state that it's becoming, that they could just come in and shut down your fucking business. They could come in and, oh, well, this week we're working at 25%. And, oh, next week we might be at 50%. We'll have to wait and tune in to see what the king, the mayor,
longer than an hour.
Right. Like, oh, you got to jail. Well, you have to order a beer with your food, or you have to jail. I'm like, right. Or
you know what it reminds me of? Like the fucking like regulations around smoking indoors.
Yeah.
Where it was like, well, if like 20% of your it was like 20% of your income comes from food at your bar, then you can still have cigarettes smoking inside, or whatever the fuck it was. I think eventually they just did away with it completely, but I remember when they first introduced it, it was like, Like, what does that suddenly make like cigarettes healthy now because there's food being served? Like, I don't understand.
I remember that because I hated smoking at bars and stuff. And I remember there was one restaurant called Rocky Run, and you used to have this like smoking section, and it was all glass covered in, and it was like looking. I don't know, you guys remember the movie Independence Day, where like the alien comes to life and like kills all the people as they're like operating on it, as they're cutting open its skin, and the president goes in, he looks at the window, it's all foggy. I know, right? Sorry.
Oh yeah, vaguely. Yeah,
it was like that's what the windows always look like in there. It's like you could look in, like what's in there? It's like some type of alien. Like there's so much smoke.
It's just people just chain smoking.
Yeah, it's a bunch of grandmas just playing fucking Keno, drinking Natty Bows, just like smoking like nonstop. Like
I hate it. I remember smoking or non. Smoking or non. You never. That's a phrase you'll never hear again.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I hated that when they changed the law. But I also was kind of like, you know what? It is kind of nice not coming home from an establishment and you gotta wash all your shit because you smell like straight cigarette. But I didn't like the fact that they had to force a law on businesses to just basically maybe realize like, hey, the market has spoken. And you know what's really sad is like, well, it's closed now. It's a Christian church. I think it's like a write-off. It's like a Jehovah's school, but it's like right around the corner from me. And I used to go there when I was in the Air Force, and it was a VFW hall. But a lot of the old timers got pissed. Like I went there a couple times and their mind was blown. They were like, how are you a veteran if you don't have your, and I'm like, I'm still serving. I was over in Korea. So technically I'm a veteran of a foreign war. I'm just here for the cheap beer, you know? But they were just like, but I digress, but they nominated like their captain or whatever it was. Like, dude, they had like a military structure of their board at this local VFW. That was losing business to begin with. It was like all these old crusty fucks.
Dude, do like people still go to VFWs? Like,
I mean, not really.
Like Iraq war vets go to VFWs? I
mean, it depends if they're smart. They weren't smart. It was a bunch of boomers. And I'm like, look, if you want to bring people in here, you got to rent this space out. So you could rent it out to punk bands or hardcore bands, like some VFW, like you could like there. I've seen some of the best shows I've ever been to were in like VFW halls or like Legion halls because they found, or even there was a Moose Lodge in Dundalk where they used to have this badass fucking car show every fucking year. Like you had, and it was like, it was cool because it was like culture meets like a private business that's a bar. Like, hey, sign up for the casino trip to Atlantic City, or oh, this is the VFW's annual trip to like Ocean City or whatever. Like if you were smart, they stayed open. But this place, even with businesses banning smoking because of the government, I think that, what year was that, Otto or Jared? It was probably what, like 2008?
I remember, I think it happened first in Pennsylvania, and that was when me and Eric were in college together.
Oh, that's right. Because you guys, you were in
there was one like, yeah, and there was one bar that was like, fuck that shit. Remember the Vet?
Yeah.
Oh, Vet, they still like let people smoke, like they didn't give a fuck. It was awesome.
Because when they passed the law in Maryland, everybody was pissed at this VFW hall that like the commander of the VFW hall, they're like, oh, that son of a bitch, he's not allowing smoking in here. And that's when it closed. Because all these old timers would be like, are you serious? It's a private club. We want to smoke here. And then they were just like, nope, we'll just drink beer at home and, you know, why bother going out? So
I still know of in Pennsylvania, there's private clubs that you can become a member of and you can smoke in there.
Like fire halls and stuff.
Dude, there's strip clubs that allow smoking.
They're just called they're just clubs. Yeah, the such and such club. There's something, what the hell's the name of it?
I think like most strip clubs allow smoking still. Like they somehow are able to get around it.
Dude, strip clubs in PA are so rampant now. I don't know if they changed the law, but I just remember there used to be, because growing up in Reading, PA, they had this place called Al Diamond's Cabaret. And it used to be like,
wait, in PA?
Yeah, dude.
It sounds like one of the ones that's like down on Haven Street.
No, this place was crazy, dude. When I was in like high school and in college, mainly like high school, like they would advertise in college. They would advertise, like Howard Stern would advertise for it. They're like, so-and-so will be performing at such and such place in New York City and also at Al Diamond's Cabaret in Reading, Pennsylvania. But I just remember going there like once or twice. And it was so random because it was in like this big industrial area, like by the steel mill in Reading. And like there was all these other like big companies. But like the law was basically like, if the strip, like you could be full bar, and it could be, or no, full bar could only be topless, but bitches getting butt naked. You could have dudes just getting off a 12-hour shift at the steel mill, pull it in a fucking cooler, like roll it in with a cooler of like a 30-pack of Yingling and just get fucked up. And like this place, it was like that was the law. Like if it was nude, it was BYOB. But if we have a bar, like an actual service bar, bartenders, it could only be topless. And I'm like, what sense does that make? Like you literally are having BYOB, like motherfuckers rolling in here. Like it just was like, wait, like the state makes no sense. So when the COVID stuff, it's like, really? Like none of this makes sense. I digress. But yeah, that was like, so I guarantee there's strip clubs.
I like how Alex wraps up every point with "I digress."
But I guarantee there's strip clubs up in PA that still allow smoking, or private clubs that just like still respect your private property. Still respect, like if you step through these doors, then whatever goes, or
You're
whatever.
Accepting the social contract.
Yeah, the social contract. Yeah. Wow, someone, Chris Bennett. Oh, good old Chris Bennett. He's like, LaToya Jackson once stripped there, Alex. At Al Diamond.
Is she an actress or something?
Oh, one of the Jackson. They had like the Jacksons had like kids.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
She wasn't in the Jackson 5, but she was like. But apparently she. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know now.
I still would.
Phil's got a low bar.
Otto's he has no standards.
Right after Amy Klobuchar, he's going after LaToya Jackson.
Get a Kloby from Klobuchar.
Get a Kloby.
A Kloby.
Kloby blowy.
It's like, yo baby. Let me see them lips.
Wow.
So Eric, you still live up in PA? Where do you reside in the universe now?
I reside.
You and Jared met in college, so.
Yep, I reside in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay. In the city proper, or like you out in Amish country?
I went to high school in the city, but right now I'm out in the suburbs.
Okay. Yeah, I went to college. I graduated from Thaddeus Stevens in the city.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah, my freshman year, I saw Wu-Tang for free at Franklin and Marshall. Like we just walked up to like a couple blocks, and it was amazing. But then like a bunch of dudes I played ball with, like it was like all of them, and they were all from like Philly. They were all like, dude, we're seeing Wu-Tang for free. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then a couple like dorks were like, we're going to go see like, I don't know. They're like a nobodies anymore. And they paid like $40 to like go out to Millersville. And I'm like, that's lame. Why would you want to go there when you could see Wu-Tang for free? Like, what are you doing?
Totally. I saw the Roots at F&M. I don't think it was free, but I was in high school and it was dope.
Nice. Yeah, they would get some amazing acts there. Like Lancaster definitely is. Even like 20 years ago, it was like, this place is cool. And now it's like.
Dude, at Millersville, I saw Ludacris, and it was phenomenal. He had a full band. He busted through hit after hit after hit after hit. I mean, like, this was in 2011, I think.
Okay.
Damn.
I knew every song. I mean, like, you forget someone like that. Or like DMX, for example, who just passed away. It's like, you
Rest
forget.
in peace.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Yeah.
You start going through his like greatest hits. It's like, I know this song. It's like, oh, dude, he was like relevant for a long time. Not as much as Ludacris, I don't think, but like still, it's like, yeah, it's a great concert. I saw DMX in concert once too.
Wow.
Damn.
Shit,
well, speaking of concerts, last night there was actually a concert at Tompkins Park in New York City. It was put on by a bunch of hardcore bands. They're just like, fuck it, we're putting on a show. And they put on a show. It was like Madball. Big Sick of It All, Pro-Mags. I forget what other bands were up there. And dude, the fucking hardcore community is like reeing so bad right now. Yeah. They're like, the super spreader event. How dare you? We're not ready. Like, just freaking out. Like, you should hear them. God. And just some of the posts that people are making, like some guys like trying to rip on me. Just because I was like, wow, you guys suck. Like, you guys are just such bitches.
Seriously.
It's bad. Some of the like, you should hear some of the posts people make. Like, they're like, I'm trying. I can't find it right now. It'd probably take me too long to look. But there was something along saying like, just because the government says something, you guys are against it. You guys are if the government told you not to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Like, Really, that's your argument there, dude? Like, that's your argument? I'm like,
Dude,
how many people are vaccinated right now, and how many people
Oh
are
yeah,
like,
it's so gross.
especially in New York, like the level of infection there. People have it, like, it's outside. It was outside event. Wisdom and Chains also played that.
Oh, dude, they're so fucking libertarian, dude. I saw Wisdom and Chains, Madball, and Sick of It All, like in Baltimore, like years ago.
Yeah,
and
I was at
like,
that show. I mean,
dude, he voted for Ron Paul. Like I saw him years ago with like death threat in Philly, and he was just like, yeah, fucking Ron Paul, 100%. He's like, yeah, lead guitarist. Yeah, it was Mad Joe, and he was just like, yeah, he was like, one of his shows, he was rocking a Ron Paul shirt. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm still working on my lead guitarist. He's like an Obama bot, but he'll come around. So,
oh, yeah. So this is what they're mad about. So John Joseph, he's the lead singer of the one of the Cro-Mags bands since they split up, him and Harley Flanagan. But yeah, anyway, so this is what this guy posted. He said, imagine being this fucking out of touch. What an absolute clown show. And he screenshot this is John Joseph talking, and he said he's just responding to somebody. He says, love you, brother, for this message. Here's the thing. Everybody was silent when tens of thousands of people protesting in the streets, even rioted and looted businesses, or the big weed smoke out on 420 Washington Square Park, sharing blunts, drinking, whatever. We got back to doing what we do, and it was great to have everybody there.
Fuck yeah, that's all you got to say.
People are so mad at this. They're just like fucking just going off. So of course I do my attack the left from the left bit. So I comment, I was like, imagine being a bitch to big pharma and the government bourgeoisie. And people are like, so someone responded back, "Is libertarian moment?" ? I'm like, dude, you're stupid. Like, I don't know. And I got 5 people laughing at me.
Dude, it's happening.
It's ridiculous. People are freaking out over an outside show.
Yeah, outside. Like,
and you didn't have to go. So they're calling it a super spreader pit, a super spreader mosh pit. Like, oh
God, shut up. How many times are they gonna cry wolf? How many fucking times? It's been the Super Bowl, dude, WrestleMania, dude, the fact that Florida exists and like is just like, come on.
It goes against the narrative. It does. It really does. When like they see, there's no nuance in the arguments. They're literally just saying, well, Texas is opening up, therefore it's going to be bodies in the street. Like, they're saying ridiculous things. Like, this could be like, you just read the headlines. And they make it a simplistic argument. So when you go back to them and say, hey, look, hospitalizations didn't spike. They actually went down after 3 weeks after the event that was held. I remember there was like 20,000+ when the Texas Rangers opened up their ballpark.
100%, 40%, like the whole stadium.
Yeah, and 20,000 showed, and they said that it was going to be a super spreader event. This is dangerous. How could you do this? You care more about making money than the lives of the people. And literally, everything's gone down in Texas since then. Explain it. Like, you made it a simple argument of everything's gonna get bad, and it didn't go bad. So now, what's your argument? And then they'll take claim over it and say, oh, well, they were acting responsibly. But I was like, but that's not what you said. You said that they weren't acting responsibly because they shouldn't.
Wait, people can't act responsibly. Only the government can, though.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's just like, that's not what your argument. Your argument was that they weren't wearing masks. People were actually not wearing masks, and they were sitting next to each other, and there was no restrictions. It's just stupid. Like, their arguments are just so dumb, and they constantly move the goalposts. And whenever something bad happens, they're like, well, think about how worse it would have been.
Yeah.
Or how it's just like, you never win. Government's always right.
The sky is falling all the time with these doomers,
Chicken Littles, the whole lot of them.
Pretty much. I mean, how many more times? I mean, Florida, they had WrestleMania. I didn't even know WrestleMania is now 2 days. That was in Tampa after the Super Bowl. They had the big MMA fight, in I think Jacksonville, full capacity. It's like, at what point do you realize that you're being lied to? You're just buying into this bullshit. Just stop already. But you're going to see pockets today. Girl and I went to brunch. Of course, I was, speaking of white boy sunburn, Phil, like I was the lone one there. We're just out there to support her cousin who DJs. And it was in Mount Vernon. So I'm like, ooh, I don't know, right by the art college. But small business. Like, you go in, they had security. They were all strapped and everything. It's cool. You go in and it was a really nice bar and restaurant on Maryland Avenue. Dude, you know where it was? It was.
I was gonna say it's near Charm City Art Space.
Yes, and I was telling Tierra, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I guarantee Phil and I bumped into shows we didn't even like know each other then, but we probably saw. We've had to see so many bands at Charm City Art Space, which was like, dude, if they still had shows there, imagine the idiots in that neighborhood be like, "Oh my god, it's a super spreader event!" Like 70 some hardcore kids packed in a fucking Baltimore basement row home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, remember in the not so long ago past, in the before times, we used to pack row homes to see hardcore bands. Like, remember the fucking dude, it was the Trapped Under Ice like
they were filming their
show. It was their last. It was one of their.
I didn't go to the last show. Yeah, I didn't go to that.
Dude, it was insane. My buddy Charlie and I, dude, we couldn't even get in the motherfucker. Like, we were just sat outside. Like, it was packed. And anyways, I digress. But it was right up the street. It was right up the street from there, you know? And again, it was like outside, like courtyard, wide open. Her cousin was DJing. It was just like bottomless mimosas. It was just like Cash App to get in. So cash business, you know, they had like, dude, they had bottle service. Like, it was like bump, 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 like brunch Sunday, you know, like they didn't give a shit. Like, it was just wide open. Only, dude, barely the staff was wearing masks. They didn't care. And, you know, people are just sick and tired of this. Just leave us the fuck alone. We're going to live our life. We're going to do what we want to do. Don't enforce your bullshit on me anymore. And it's happening, you know, but yeah.
It really inspired me. Like, I really wanted to write an article about this. Yeah, I really wanted to write an article about this, and I kind of just been putting it off. And I still think it's relevant. That I mean,
how to write?
I'm a prolific writer.
Dude, how much you guys miss live music? You know,
that's my point. Is I miss music so much, and I took it for granted after. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, there was really bad flu seasons where we would all pile into shows, and my shirt would be soaked with other people's sweat. And people be jumping on my head, like just everyone touching each other within like this close to my face.
Yeah, like
the entire
guar
time.
Like when I saw guar,
and nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. No one wore masks. And these are, I mean, it's flu season. And just think about it, like hypothetically, like some of these flu seasons were pretty bad that we went through, and we all just kind of knew the risk. We'd go in there and people would walk on our heads, you know, they would get punched in the face, kicked, and, you know, people get knocked out, lose teeth, you know, like these are some pretty hard ass fucking shows. And we all took the risk, and we went in, and and everyone was fine for it. And I just think, like, when are we going to go back to this now that everybody's scared? Like, when is the time when, I mean, so many people are vaccinated, so many people have gotten the virus, so many people, like, what's the excuse now? Like, what's the excuse? Like, what are the parameters? Like, Fauci you can't get one word out of this dude. He will not tell you. He just says, well, when he's like, you'll know it when the cases go down. Yeah. What does that go down to? What? Like, tell me, give me a parameter, give me a goal. Like, let's have a goal in this. If this is what you're going to do, like, and then once we get to it, then we're gonna open up. We can never wear masks again. Like, you know, it's just they just keep moving goalposts, and it just sucks. And it's like, I want to go to a live fucking show where I'm not having to sit down at a table behind a plastic screen. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god,
just Fauci, shut the fuck up. Like, I just want him to get like Maury'd in like Goodfellas, you know, and like gets the fucking ice pick in the back of the neck. Like, shut the fuck. I thought he'd never shut the fuck up, you know. It's like, you know, dude, and the COVIDiots, man, the COVIDiots, like you said, Phil, it's like, remember when hardcore was hardcore? Remember when punk was punk? Like, our boy Davey, Simulated Davey, tweeted out, our boy down in Florida, you know, if those don't know, he tweeted out, like, dude, punk is cucked, and it was all like Fat Mike and a bunch of other, like, just showing their vaccine virtue signal selfies, and I'm like, oh, you're so fucking gross. Like, that is.
I mean, well, they're probably old enough that they're probably in the demographic. They probably.
Yeah, but it's one thing to get it. It's another to like do like the fucking like social media bullshit.
Right.
It's like
I'm
just
going to get my Krispy Kreme. I'm 400 pounds and I got my shot.
Yeah, your name is Fat Mike for a reason. Maybe, I don't know. Like, figure out, like, you know, like, come on, dude. Like, virtue signaling. Oh God, it's gross. Gross.
Yeah, man. And just thinking that, like, I keep telling people about this, like, it sounds like such a conspiracy thing, but you know, the Moderna, I think that's what it was the vaccine was created in 2 days.
Well, that was
Probably.
the J&J one you were talking about.
No, that's the Moderna one, right? It's not the Johnson & Johnson.
And they're
That's
saying
the
that,
one that,
that has
and I'm
the
like,
most
that's
side
insane.
effects.
It sounds like, dude, go look it up. There's a Bloomberg article in Bloomberg. It said like from December 30th, I think it is, and they say how what a modern miracle this is to develop a vaccine in 2 days. I'm like, I'm nervous.
I don't know about that, but
I don't know. Cool, like good for you, but I'm not taking it. I'll let everybody get herd immunity. My parents got vaccinated because they're fucking. My dad's the poster child for comorbidities. Yeah, he's like I tell you, he's had like triple bypass surgery, heart valve replacement. He has several he has skin cancer, he had throat cancer. He's a diabetic from Agent Orange in Vietnam, and like he's like in almost his 80s or he's in mid 70s.
I mean, if you dig in past the headline, though, there's more to it than that. I mean, the technology, it's basically like if you printed out like, a birthday card and you already had the template there and you're like, well, we just have to add a few things and then boop. But anyways,
pretty crazy.
Let's take this on over to the after.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing before we go? Just want to say that during the pandemic, like a lot of podcasts either stayed the same or like got worse, but it was really nice to watch you guys get way better. And you really had the who's who of libertarians on, like Vermin Supreme, Joe Jorgensen herself, Dave Smith. Did you guys have Spike Cohen too?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was a shirtless episode. We're all banned from the beach.
Yeah, so like you guys are really killing it. That's like really impressive to me, and I hope you keep it up.
Oh, thanks, man. You missed a great time to shit on us. You were like, and you guys went way worse.
And it's been all downhill since.
Right. Well, no, thank you for the kind words, Eric. We appreciate it.
It was awesome. It was awesome conversating, Eric. So yeah,
take
it over.
Let's go. Let's take this over to the after hours. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, how do I listen to this after hours podcast? Well, I have the answer for you, Mr. Listener, who doesn't know how to listen to our after hours. You go to our Patreon. You subscribe for as little as $1 a month. Get you access to our After Hours podcast, which we're going to record right after this. So we're going to have some juicy details about some events that transpired that we don't allowed to talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about it for you guys. Yep. So if you want to go over there, give us $5 a month, $10 a month. You guys get a free T-shirt if Jared remembers to send them out to you.
I remember.
And so check that out. And if you don't want to sign up for Patreon or give them any of your support, you can go to PRLfans.com and find other ways to help support the show. We greatly appreciate it. Speaking of other ways to support the show, you can go over to libertariancountry.com and buy lots of our T-shirts. I still got to send some designs over. We're trying to get ourselves like a whole collection of T-shirts. So we'll just look for that in the near future.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be pretty dope. But you guys get yourself a 10% discount if you use the code PRL or PRL Podcast. And if you spend $50 or more, you get yourself a 20% discount by using the code PRL2. And tonight brought to you by Moral Bob's podcast, Hidden in Plain Sight. And until next time, live free
or die.